morning, good or afternoon now. It is your legal bestie attorney, Symone. I am coming to you live from the Diddy trial. It is day 14. I don't count the days of jury selection. And this is Mia's final testimony. So I am so sorry for being late for you guys, but you know how court is. Like, you just never ever know. So anyway, and I wanted to make sure I outline this so I can get to the facts, y'all. Get to the facts and get in and get out. Now, first off, let me know where you're watching us from. Hey, Wanda Young. Hey, H2O Ice. Y'all, we have a new bombshell. We have someone else who's going to be testifying after pleading the fifth. So, earlier this morning, before Mia got back on the stand, so this morning was Mia, before Mia got back on the stand, there was a guy named Eddie Garcia. So he comes in, he is a tall, probably like 6'2", heavy-set Hispanic guy. He's actually wearing like some regular old pants and like a bomber jacket. Totally casual. I don't know, like maybe he goes to court all the time. I don't know, maybe he goes to jail a lot. Not really sure. But Eddie walked in, and the jury was not in there. And the prosecutor goes to the podium and she says, Eddie, you have been subpoenaed to be here today, correct? He said, yes. And it says, is it true that you wish to exercise your right to plead the fifth? He said, yes. So you won't be testifying today? He said, yes. He said, and then the prosecutor goes, all right, hand him the immunity agreement. And she says, basically, this is an immunity agreement. You will be immune from being tried for whatever you tell us. However, if you perjure yourself, if you lie on the stand, then you can be held liable for perjury. Got it. So he was like, okay. So then they took him off the stand, I guess because we're going to deal with him later, like he's going to testify later. They wanted to finish up with Mia. But I was like, who is Eddie? What is Eddie related to? Because Eddie don't look like the type that will work for Diddy. But Eddie clearly has some tea in that they're forcing Eddie to testify. So remember, guys, I taught y'all previously, if someone says, no, I'm not testifying, I'm pleading the fifth, if the prosecutor gives them an immunity agreement, they have to testify. They can't not testify because that immunity agreement takes away any chance that you'll have to go to jail. The fifth just says, I'm not going to talk my way in a jail cell. When you plead the fifth, that's you saying, I'm not about to talk my way into a jail cell. So if the prosecutor takes away any chance of you going to jail for your testimony, that's why they have to testify. So no, it wasn't Eddie Winslow, it was Eddie Garcia. Here's what I think. I think that Eddie is going to be related to the hotel. He very well may have been the person that accepted the $100,000 Diddy bribe. That is my guess. We're not sure yet, but if we hurry up and get done with Mia, Lord, please get done with Mia, because I'm sick of that. If we get done with Mia, he should take the stand today, and I can't wait to see it. So again, he pled the fifth. They gave him immunity. Now he has to testify. So I think he might be, again, the hotel worker that was paid off to make the tape go away. If so, y'all, Rico has officially been proven. And that's bribery. And we've already had the S workers, right? We're the prostitutas who got on the stand and talked about working in 2 different states and being flown there. So if he gets up there and is like, yep, they bribed me, we got bribery, then we've got prostituta, then that's it. That's also, Eddie taking that money is also tampering with witnesses because Eddie is a witness. So that would be 3 RICO offenses. In addition to, there was also, drug distribution, substance distribution that was testified to by various people, who staff and so forth, that testified that Diddy would have him go and get the substance. Now, let's go back into Mia. I'm not going to drag this out. Mia. Now, first of all, Mia looks super cute. One thing I noticed about Mia is she never looks up. She doesn't look anyone in the eye. She still looks terrified. So I noticed, even she was standing up waiting for the jury to come in, she still did not look up, y'all. She would look down, looks at her hands, fiddles her fingers. And I know some people are like, oh, that's because she's lying. No, actually, the DV expert took the stand last week or the week before and actually testified that is a response when you're in the presence of your assailant. You don't want to make eye contact, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, she didn't make eye contact. She looked down the whole time. She also wears her hair in her face and looks down, so you literally can't see her face. You cannot see her eyes. You can't see your eyes. And she had on like an all white suit. That was fine. Cute. Whatever. But basically, they started off. This is again cross examination by Brian Steele. He put up a plethora of text messages from her. And the point of the text messages is they spanned years. What he focused on today was putting up there a bunch of text messages from after she left Bad Boy. So after like 2017, where she's still reaching out to Diddy and she's saying things like, "You're my inspiration. You're such a great friend. You're such a great person. I love you." And he'd write back, "I love you too. Oh, I sure will give Mims a hug. I sure will." So, and she's like, "I love you. I love you too." Da, 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 da. And she's reaching out to Diddy. Now, you probably heard before that many people, Mims, the people want to see you. Can you come wave to him? Y'all, Mims right here. You've heard that. Okay, so out throughout it, people are like, "Yeah, we're losing the jury. We're losing the jury here because it seems like she's a liar." Show him, y'all. He looks like an international drug dealer per usual. He doesn't have the jewelry on today, though.
I do have jewelry on.
Oh.
Is that what you tell people about? You can't trust her.
He does look like an international drug dealer, y'all. This is Mims. Make it make sense.
What's up, everybody?
Yes.
Absolutely. Wait, hold on. Which drug dealer about a t-shirt, a sweatshirt?
You usually have your chain showing. That's usually what we see. Thanks. Okay, I'll see you upstairs shortly.
She didn't ask me jack shit about the case. She's over.
Oh yes, come on. Tell him what you think. This is his first day back. No, give him your thoughts. This is his first day
What's
back.
the question?
How do you think she's probably doing with the jury?
It depends. I feel like the whole. Oh, sorry. I feel like him saying a Me Too money grab spoke to anybody on the jury who does not believe in the Me Too movement. That was a signal directly to that person on the jury who will then side with Diddy. So it's still it was a jackass thing to say.
Yeah, he's been a jackass.
But he doesn't care, and it's effective. I'm not even gonna lie. It's a very effective approach.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. All right, thanks, Drew. All right, so let me just summarize real quick. So they had a bunch of text message on the screen again from after Mia had already left Bad Boy, where she's reaching out to Diddy and she's like, "You're my friend. I love you." Da da da. And when asked about it, what she was saying is that this was after Kim had just died and Andre Harrell in some of the text messages, and that she was trying to be a good friend and she was reaching out to him. She was like, "Even though he did those bad things to me, I felt like I wanted to be a good friend," was the gist of what she tried to say. Okay, whatever. Keep going. So then there's more of the photos. It got really annoying. It was just, more of the text messages. So it was all about the text messages. Then Brian tries to get in 25 new exhibits. Everybody, including the judge, was like, "Okay, enough is enough. This is getting redundant." He wanted to put in these social media posts. Hold on, y'all. Oh, my goodness. They are watering plants. So I'm going to move because I know it sounds like I'm peeing on myself at the moment, and I promise you I'm not. So they kept saying, there was a variety of different things, and he kept trying to get in these different like social media posts, and he said he wanted to show that she in fact had time to be with her friends and family, because she said she worked so hard, she never got a chance to really spend time with her family. And then he asked a line of questioning that was like, "Oh, well, you spent time with your friends and family. How come you didn't tell them about Diddy then?" And it's kind of like, I'm not about to tell you that I've been SA'd at my sister's baby shower. That would actually be selfish and weird. Yeah, I'm going to go back to the courtroom. Marcus, don't worry about me. I'm going to go back to the courtroom. But listen, so they went back and forth on that. And then what Brian Still also did, now again, these were all really, really good questions on cross. What he also did was he said, "Why are you reaching out if he ruined your life?" That's when she talked about Kim and Andre Harrell passing away, and that she wanted to check on him. Then there's a fat Mexican juror. She's a chick. And at one point when they got ready to go to break, she busts out laughing. I don't know what she was laughing at. I think she's the one that works at a deli. She looks like she likes sandwiches, and so do I. In addition, they had a good line of questioning. So in some of the text messages that Mia wrote to Diddy, she would tell Diddy about, "Hey, remember the such and such time or this time? I think I have photos of it. If you need them, I can try and pull them together." Or I have, at one point she made him a scrapbook for his birthday years ago. So what Brian Steele says is, "Now hold on. You got all these you got these notes on different things regarding Diddy. Do you have any notes documenting that you were SA? No. Do you have any recordings of Diddy berating you? No. Do you have any text messages? Do you have any proof? And then the prosecution was like, object. Because that is a good point. If you're a person that keeps notes of things, why didn't you keep notes of the SA? Was the implication. Now, I think we all know. Not we all know. I assume that the answer is because if you don't, if that's not a memory you want to maintain, and if that's not a memory that if it's a memory you plan to die with you, no, you're not going to document it, and you're not going to tell anybody. And I'm certainly not going to tell my sister at her wedding that I've been SA'd by my boss. Yeah, Danetta said that is one thing that you would never write down. But stay with me here. So then Brian Still, um, he got to cheating, y'all. Brian was cheating. He got to the point he stopped even asking questions. He would make leading statements, and the judge would be like, "Is that a question? Is there a question there?" He would just make it. He'd be like, "So," he'd be like, "There's no written proof of Diddy ever even yelling at you. There's no audio recordings of Diddy yelling," and it wouldn't even be a question. Like he would just say it, and then the prosecution would object, and then he would just go to the next sentence. He'd be like, "There's no proof of this," and so they had to call a sidebar because it was like you're not supposed to do that. Lawyers are not supposed to testify. You're supposed to ask a question. The question will be objected to or otherwise, and then keep it moving. So next they got to the fact that when she was laid off from Diddy's company, there was she hired an attorney because she didn't get paid for months. She was entitled to severance, etc. So she hired a employment lawyer. That was back in 2017. Y'all, stay with me here. You're going to hear something from me on this that you won't hear and haven't heard anywhere else. All right. So in 2017, she negotiated a settlement with Diddy regarding her employment, the unpaid wages, reimbursement, overtime, all that stuff she was due. Now, initially, the ask from her employment lawyer was the initial ask was $10 million. And they asked him, like, they asked her, like, how'd you come up with that? She's like, I don't know. My lawyer did it. Right. In the end, she settled and received $400,000. Of that, her lawyer got about $200,000 and she got about $200,000. Fast forward. So what he is trying to establish, Ryan Steele is trying to establish that the fact that she did not tell the government that Diddy had ever SA'd her until after the third time of meeting with the government. More significantly, she didn't tell them until after she retained a lawyer. So he's trying to set it up to paint the picture of a money grab. In fact, just before lunch, there was a huge objection. He was like, so this was a Me Too money grab. Well, that's what Mims was talking about. He's like, this is a Me Too money grab. And everyone was like, well, I myself want to be like, objection. So here's the thing. Oh, hold on. Tim McNeil says, why do we think she's being anonymous? She's being anonymous because she is alleging SA, in our words specifically. When you are alleging that, the judge has the authority to allow you to proceed under an alias. So that's why. But here's the kicker. Going back to, so there was a $10 million that was initially asked, but she got $400,000 from her employment lawyers in 2017. That was to settle all and any claims that she had against Diddy for her employment with him. And he asked her, how come when you were making that $10 million demand, you didn't mention the SA? This is why I believe you guys. If there was ever a time to lie or bring it out for your advantage, she would have done it back when she was seeking $10 million. I actually think it bodes well for her side. Now, the other stuff, absolutely, it made her look crazy. You reaching out to this man, talking about you my bestie. And we're talking about forced labor, attacks, all this kind of stuff. But the fact that when she was negotiating for $10 million, she still didn't bring up the SA, I don't think that means it didn't happen. I think that substantiates her claim that she was going to take it to the grave. Here's the other thing, and it's kind of the final big statement. Yes, so Ryan Steele was trying to establish, hey, she's Cassie's friend. She knew Cassie got a settlement November of 2023. And then the Fed, starting that following January, started sitting down and meeting with her. She didn't have no lawyer at first. And then she got a lawyer around June of 24. And once she got that lawyer, she stated that she had experienced the SA. She also acknowledged that it was around that time that she first told her therapist. So she said she actually told her therapist before she told her lawyer. So then Brian still tried to say, well, can we get those records? And the prosecution rightly said, objection. They didn't even have to say object. The judge said sustain. The judge has been getting so sick of him. The judge has been sustaining objections against him that haven't even been asked. But here is the point that I think the prosecution needs to really bring home on redirect. If this was a Me Too money grab, then she would have been up there asking for millions, just like Cassie. That's her homegirl. Cassie got 20 million. She would have been up there asking for money too, but she hasn't asked for a dime. Hello. If there's ever an instance where you can ask for money in exchange for a time when you could drum up that charge, it would be now, while Tony Busby and all of his clients and all these different clients, right, are piling on to Diddy. But she didn't do that. No, she didn't ask for 10 million related to this. Her lawyer for her employment law lawsuit started with a demand. It was never a lawsuit. They settled it out of court. So that's important. She didn't know. So she didn't ask for 10 million. Her lawyer started the negotiations there. That's what you do. You have a mediation. You start at some crazy number and you come down to something. So it was never her number. It was, but she got 400,000. She to this day has not asked Diddy for a dime, not threatened to sue, not even made a demand. I think that speaks to the fact that this wasn't a money grab this time around. Hit that subscribe, guys. Hit that subscribe. I need some more subscribers. Were you aware that the Mia video shown in court today was also leaked to the public in real time on another YouTube channel? Yeah, I believe that TMZ was probably behind that. That's the type of stuff that they've allegedly been doing. So that doesn't surprise me that was leaked. It says, what are they trying to insinuate about her lawyer? They're trying to insinuate that her lawyer put her up to claiming SA as part of a money grab. But if you're claiming the lawyer put her up to a money grab by claiming SA, but she's never asked for any money, she has no pending civil suit, none of the above, then there you go. Yeah, I think this lady wants to move on. If it was about money or something and to get back at him, blah, 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 blah. And okay, I'm correct. I'm incorrect. So someone said it may not have been TMZ. Isn't that illegal? It's not illegal. No, it's not illegal to post her stuff. If you're not part of it, would only be impermissible if it was someone from the lawsuit that did it. So if it was one of Diddy's attorneys or the prosecution, then yes. Thank you, Attorney Symone. So in the end, and it's also important to understand this, when she settled her 2017 lawsuit for that 400,000, that's it. She could not come back and be like, well, but on the job you SA'd me. Now, that's incorrect. Come on. She signed a confidentiality agreement with that 2017 settlement. So she can't get anything more for employment related stuff. Now, if it was to go to criminal court, then maybe there could be something there. But I think that civil suit would look crazy with all of those I love yous in the text messages. Anyways, either way, my point is that if it was in fact what Brian still is alleging, which is a Me Too money grab, she would have asked for some money. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the prosecution handles that on redirect. And I really hope that they actually pull out and say, not only did she not ask for that money, she couldn't ask for that money. Because when she settled in 2017, it literally resolved any and all claims she may have that arose out of working for him. Any and all civil claims, not criminal, remember? Brian still, I do think he's done his job well. He's been, kind of breaking the rules, not doing. But at the end of the day, you win first, you apologize later. That's what I see. He hasn't walked an ethical line. He hasn't done that. But what the prosecution was complaining is that the redundancy of all those text messages that were showing, that she was praising Diddy and blah blah blah. That it was getting to the point where he was harassing her on the stand. Brian Steele, by certain innuendo and the claims that the claim was that he was asking the same question over and over and making innuendo about her. Well, if you were really SA'd, then wouldn't you have done this or wouldn't you have done that? In the end, I thought it was a weak argument at the end to say, The only reason you claimed SA was after you got your lawyer for a money grab, due to the fact that she never actually went and tried to grab any of the money. So there we go. So next, I'm looking forward to Eddie Garcia. I believe that he is going to be related to the hotel. He is going to be testifying this afternoon. Lord, if they could finish up with Mia, he's going to testify under immunity because apparently he either took a bribe, accepted a bribe, or maybe he was the one that made the hotel video go away. I don't know. We're going to find that out. And hit the subscribe button. Share this on Twitter with whoever you know. Share it on Facebook. I really appreciate you guys. And I will be back after court concludes today. I might even come back in the middle of the day. So make sure you have your notifications on for more updates from Attorney Symone, your legal bestie. Hey!